Hi, I'm Alicia.
And I'm Aubry.
And this is Wine, Women, and Crafts.
Boom, boom, wine, women, and crafts.
Thank you for joining us on this very special
Thanksgiving episode. Today I will be showing you how to make hand sanitizer to keep you and your loved ones safe over this holiday season. And
I'll be showing you how to make some lovely turkey cookies and also a set of cookies that show what you're thankful for. But first,
the wine review! All right, today we have a Pinot Noir from Turning Leaf. It's a Californian wine, and the back of the bottle says, as you uncork this bottle of our Pinot Noir, we invite you to enjoy the aromas and flavors of cherry, raspberry, and subtle spice.
I first became aware of Turning Leaf because I lived in California for a bit, and as I was looking for something that was appropriate for Thanksgiving, I remembered a winery that had a turkey in the name, and even my dad was trying to help me find stuff. Turns out that Turning Leaf is the only thing that actually sports anything kind of even Thanksgiving on the label that I could find. Here we go.
That's how we shop, by how pretty the label is. Thank you so much for being on this journey with us. We love having you along, and we'd love to hear from you. So if you've been crafting along with us, please post your pictures in the comments. If you have ideas for projects, tell us in the comments. We will do them. Or if you've just been drinking wine and watching us be silly, let us know what you think of the wine. But the more people we have clicking like and subscribing to our channel, the more likely we are to do a second season, and we'd love to see you there.
Absolutely.
So click.
All right, so first...
Look.
Yep.
We look. I'm learning this routine. We look.
Yes, we look, and then we
wiggle,
swish. We look for legs, and actually this one is nice and thick. A Pinot Noir usually is, and you'll see a little bit of legs forming this way. And then the sniff. See, this one doesn't just smell like wine to me, and this is why I go for the darker colors. The Pinot Noirs and the even like Riesling or Pinot Grigio, the smell is just totally different. And I don't know if you can see, but you can really see the legs on there, on this one.
I don't know what it smells like, but it smells delicious.
It totally does.
And it tastes delicious.
So this is a red wine. You would typically have something like this with food, particularly red meat. I find it goes really well with like a barbecue flavor or a heavier meat flavor, like a really nice steak. If you've ever seen the movie Ratatouille where he mixes the different tastes and stuff, that's how I feel with wine and food. And that's why I kind of got into the whole wine tasting thing. But hopefully you enjoy it as much as we do. Alicia, what is your rating?
Probably going to go with a 4 out of 5 because it's not as sweet as the ones that I usually go for.
Fair enough. Pinot Noir is my favorite variety, to be perfectly honest. And so I would give this a 4.5 out of 5. There are some that I like a little better than this, but it's delicious.
And now it's time to get crafting. We are going to make some hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer is incredibly useful, but only if it is at least 60% alcohol. So I'm going to show you how to do that. These are your wonderful materials. The most important one, of course, is your isopropyl alcohol. Mine is at least 99% proof. You want to go for the highest proof you can. Not the fun alcohol like vodka. Does not count. You need the isopropyl alcohol. Your next crucial ingredient is the aloe vera gel. This is what will prevent your hands from drying out from essentially bathing in pure alcohol. Those are your two most important ingredients. I can also add in some vegetable glycerin that helps with the aloe vera. And you have some tea tree oil or another scented essential oil like lemon. And you could also use food coloring. I tend not to, but if you want to add 1 drop of food coloring, you can. But don't add more than 1 drop, otherwise your hands will turn blue or green or purple or whatever color your food coloring is. The other things that I have on my table to help with making this is a bowl for mixing. I also have 2 measuring cups. They're both 1/3 of a cup because you want 2/3 alcohol and then 1/3 everything else. I have a whisk for mixing it all up. I have a funnel, and I have a old hand soap dispenser, which I am reusing. Also, while you are making this, it can be messy. You are putting liquids into small bottles or into a bowl and you're whisking things. So paper towels are very helpful in case of a mess. And I've also covered my table in a kind of cheap plastic tablecloth so that if I do make a really big mess, can just bundle up and throw it away. Let's get started. All right, first step is to measure out your alcohol. Remember, you need to have it at least 60% of your mixture. So I'm using one-third measuring device, my isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to measure roughly 2 of these, so 2/3 in here. Kind of shake that out, put that over there so it drips on that. So this sounds a little weird. This is a 1/3 cup measuring device. I'm going to make 2/3 of this out of aloe vera and then the remaining third out of the glycerin. So that is my personal recipe for it, for what I have found is most comfortable on my hands. But pretty much as long as whatever you're adding to your 2/3 cup of alcohol is within that 1/3 cup, you're good. You kind of have to squeeze it, make it gloopy. This is my roughly 2/3 cup of a 1/3 measuring device of aloe vera gel. And now I'm going to top off this measuring device with the glycerin. And this is where it gets fun and a little splashy. And then you're going to add all of that into your alcohol. So see, you have it empty. Use your whisk to kind of push that out. That's why I use my squishy cup, because I can push out all of my remaining stuff. And now you're going to whisk that isopropyl alcohol, the aloe vera gel, and the glycerin all together until it is as smooth as you can make it. That aloe vera gel does like to separate, and it does like to stay chunky, so you do get to mix it a lot. This is the point where you would add a few drops of your essential oil if you wanted to, or the 1 drop of your food dye. I'm going to add a little bit of tea tree because I like the smell of tea tree. About 8 drops of tea tree oil. Tea tree oil is also an antiseptic, so it helps with all of that. And generally, I stop mixing once there's some bubbles and it looks pretty smooth. Now, I am not good at putting things into bottles, so I have an extra bowl, which I will use to catch all of my draining sanitizer mixture.
All right, ready for some cookies? Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do anytime you're working with food, if you've got long hair like mine, or even if you don't, even if it's a little bit shorter, is you want to tie it up. For me, I'm just going to pull it back, twist it, and turn it into a bun. It's really simple. Just twist, turn to turn to turn. And now I've got this lovely little bun on my head that keeps it out of my face and out of the food. Nobody wants a cookie with a hair in it, trust me. The next thing you're going to want to do is wash your hands. This is non-negotiable, especially during COVID, but really anytime you're touching food, particularly if it involves raw egg, you want to wash your hands. Now, to start our cookies, we want to start by combining our wet ingredients. First, we're going to take the honey. Make sure that you level off. It may be difficult if your honey is stiff to get it all in there, but you do want to make sure you get enough honey in there. Without that, there's not really anything to make these sweet. The next thing you want to add is your ghee. This could also be butter or whatever substitute you'd like to use. We put it in the microwave to soften it. So about 10 to 15 seconds in the microwave ought to do it. After you've got that out of the microwave, you're going to go ahead and combine your egg. and vanilla extract. After the wet ingredients are good, you're going to set those aside and combine your dry ingredients. In this case, we actually used a specialty flour. You can use regular flour if you want regular cookies. We were trying to take into account people with special dietary restrictions, thus the ghee for butter and the mixed flour as opposed to the traditional flour. Your baking soda, next up, you're going to put in your salt. So a lot of times in older recipes, you'll see a pinch. In this case, I did 3 pinches of salt. After you've got your dry ingredients mixed, you're going to put those together with your wet. Make sure you use a hand mixer. There is no way you're going to be able to get this smooth enough without a hand mixer. After you've used your hand mixer, you're going to go ahead and put it in saran wrap or plastic wrap or whatever your thing is, not a bowl. Make sure it is some kind of wrap so that it's completely airtight and there's not any air surrounding it. If you do, the dough will just dry a little bit differently. I left it in the fridge overnight. You can use it for about 3 hours if you'd like, but I know sometimes when you have dietary restrictions or you're immunocompromised, it might be a matter of energy, so it's totally fine to leave it in the fridge overnight. After your dough comes out, what you're going to do is just put it together and roll it out. You'll notice that when I'm rolling out the dough, I'm using guides. I used popsicle sticks because I figure most people can get these in a craft store or from eating popsicles, which is the fun way. And I use those as my guide so that my cookies are a uniform thickness all the way through. This makes it so that when you're baking them, it's the same amount of time no matter how many cookies you have in there. When you're cutting out your cookies, not everyone has a cookie cutter. A glass works just fine. Mugs, less so. But glass, you can just pop it in, turn it, pull it out, and you've got the perfect round cookie shape. In addition to using a glass, you can also use a knife to cut out a custom shape. Custom shapes are great for when you want to make things like turkeys and don't happen to have that cookie cutter. Or you don't want to take up a lot of space with cookie cutters and you just want to make your own shape of cookies anytime. One of the things that you can do is print out a paper template and cut around that so that all your cookies are about the same size. All right, so now we've got our cookies cut out, they're ready to go, and we're going to put them into the oven. This is about 10 minutes in the oven at about 350 degrees. Okay, so now that our cookies are out, we want to let them cool before we put the icing on. If you don't let your cookies cool, you can get sick by icing hot cookies with royal icing. Don't do it, trust me. So now that your cookies are cooled, we're going to go ahead and make the royal icing. You're going to combine your egg white, vanilla extract, your confectioner sugar. With the royal icing, you definitely need a hand mixer for this. I have tried beating it by hand and there is no way you can get enough speed and enough power to make that smooth. So save yourself some trouble and use a hand mixer. Once you've gotten that mixed, it's pretty quick. It takes about 2 minutes to make royal icing if you've got all the ingredients. After it's all nice and smooth, you can add your food coloring. Pay attention to the packaging. It will usually let you know how to mix. All right, when you're icing your cookies, most of the time you're going to want to put them into a pastry bag. In this case, I was trying a different technique where I add vodka to it to make it a little bit more spreadable like paint. I got kind of mixed results on that. So I would say experiment with it for fun, but if you're really counting on those cookies to look good, go ahead and put it into a pastry bag and pipe it onto the cookie as opposed to trying to paint it on like I did. The turkeys obviously are for Thanksgiving, but the round one is what I call a thankful cookie. Around Thanksgiving, one of my favorite things to do is make thankful cookies. I'll ask the people that are going to be there what their favorite thing is or what's something that they're thankful for, and I'll put that on the cookies. In this case, my thing that I'm thankful for is the sun. I lived in Southern California for 18 years, and now in the Pacific Northwest, anytime there's sun, it makes me happy because I sometimes miss that. So this year has been tough for a lot of people. And I think if we can all find just one or two things that we're thankful for, that can help it be reframed into kind of, there's still good in the world. There are still things to be thankful for. Even though there's been a lot of tough things that we've gone through, a lot of difficult things that have happened in the nation, in the world, find those things that you could still be thankful for. There's something to hold on to when things are tough.
Okay, welcome back. I have shown you how to make a hand sanitizer. I was a little messy in making it, but it will still work, and it's at least 60% alcohol, which will help keep your family safe in this holiday season.
May I?
Of course. Make the pump work. There we go.
And I showed you how to make some fun holiday Thanksgiving cookies that are both turkeys and thankful cookies.
Can I try some?
Of course, take your pick.
As soon as I get the hand sanitizer off. Ooh, I want this one.
Perfect. And I'll try turkey time.
You should bake cookies more often. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Wine, Women, and Crafts.
And don't forget to join us in 2 weeks for our next episode. Also,
please remember to hit like and subscribe for further content as this holiday season progresses. We'll see you next time.